Okay, I'm gonna finish. So, this is part um two. It is February the 10th. Mine is it the 10th? Yeah, February the 10th, 2025. And this is part two about my taxes. American Nation of Family Sheet and Way Back today, Islam. So, um, so what? So Phyllis was asked me, did I make more money this year? I said no, because my W-2 showed that I made more money last year and I got a refund. And I've been filing with TurboTax for years. So I told her this because we Emily because Bob brought the conversation on the front line in front of them, which is I didn't see at the problem. I was like I didn't know why he walked out of the office to talk about it, but at the time I'm more trying to think about um and figure out what happened, because $1,000 when I'm giving time to pay February's rent. This is what I was my understanding about my rent situation, that I had some time to pay February's rent because I went to court and to not get evicted, even though I was rehired, um, and I didn't know the eviction process or how the courts were going to do. So I'm just thinking I don't want to get evicted. So even though I was rehired at Whole Foods, and now I've been working at Whole Foods, I just hit a month, a little bit over a month. I think I was my first day at Whole Foods was January the 2nd or the 3rd, the first week of January, and now it's February the 10th. So I'm right at, if not a few days after a month, I'm right. I'm definitely a month owed at Prepare Foods. I was rehired at Prepare Foods, the department of Prepare Foods. So last week on Friday, I thought, I wasn't thinking. I was just trying to figure out what happened so that it can be corrected. And try to figure out how what I mean, because I was like $1,000, and I'm now I've been given time. These were my thoughts and what my understanding was at that time, that I had time to pay for February's rent. So even though the 6th, because if at Crosswinds after the 5th you're late and you get a late fee. So I was very do so that was one of the main reasons why I was excited about filing my taxes, even though through these past few years it has not been a lot of a lot of refund, like 500, 600, or maybe about 450, $500, $600. But that helps, right? So I'm like, okay, that's gonna help definitely. And now that I'm back working with Whole Foods, again, prepared foods, and I mean prepared at the prepared department, making 16.50 an hour. When I was at e-commerce, before I was separated, I think only worked there for about a month or so, whatever. Nonetheless, um, I was only made like $15 an hour. So I was paid minimum wage. So to get rehired and get $1.50 more, I'm very thankful. So um I was just trying to figure out what happened. And I don't so to ask to give you a reason why Bob, the manager of Phoenix Foods, from Phoenix Foods, brought the conversation in front of Emily and Miss Phyllis and others. I don't know why, but they joined the conversation. And Phyllis asked me, did I make more money last year? I mean, this year. I said no. My W-2 shows that I make less money, but I owe money. And I'd say, I just, comedy just had the conversation because I'm trying to listen and learn. because I'm like, what did I do? My thing is trying to figure out what did I do, because I'm not educated in taxes and researching on taxes like others might be. So I just wanted to make sure. I wanted to see what happened. I mean, where did this come from? And also, let me remind you that this past year, I would be walking or out, and I can't tell you I would say too many times. Some of the people here in Annapolis would say, "We're gonna mess up her taxes," or I think I heard like the frequency also in the hotel was saying, like, people like a frequency saying, "We're gonna mess up her taxes this year." So that thought was definitely in my mind while I was listening to the conversation of or having the conversation with Bob, and then later, afterwards, then, like, I was like, well, this is odd. I mean, I should say the thought was there, okay, because I think I know I documented it on X, or some would say Twitter, because what happened to Imani? I was like, how would they mess up my taxes? And I'm not accusing Burger King. I'm gonna say this: I'm not accusing Burger King. And but I'm just saying that I know we're among humanoid AI, and transhumans or other experiments that can manipulate technology and so forth. And I'm not accusing Burger King, and I'm not dismissing Burger King. I'm just saying I know we are among these things. And because even just tonight, before I went down to work to exercise, but all three of the treadmills were being used. Um, when I was trying to look to see or browse my tablet, next door there was a noise by a male, like that. So I'm like that, and all of a sudden my tablet went blank. Okay, and that happens quite a bit when humanoid AI is around, harassing, stalking, or force engaging. Okay, and that um, I'm hoping that we will speak truth about what we are among, so that they will not become more aggressive in power. So I'm also gonna direct this to Elon Musk, this video, because he seemed to be also very much into technology and knowledge about humanoid AI, or AI, I should say, and what they can and cannot do. So, um, so after the conversation, which was mostly me asking questions and listening, I didn't ask many questions, but just listening. I think Mindy, just other coworkers were listening or whatever. So I think Phyllis was like, she mentioned Jay Hewitt, and so forth, and she asked me a few questions, and I was like, I freely said, because I was, I didn't think what would be the intention of going out on the floor or anything like that. I was just trying to figure out a solution. So the main thing I remember asking about is clarifying that zero dependent. Because I remember I said, because when he brought up dependence, I said zero, and then I don't know where the number one came from, but someone said one, or heard one. I was like, I guess if you claim yourself one, then Emily jumped in and said it, or not really jumped in, but she like, no, there would be zero. I was like, okay. Well, anyway, but I know that I learned that zero was what we supposed to claim um, years ago. So that's why when we file our taxes, our W-2, we say zero, Imani and I. And even he made sure just this past year that it's zero, so he doesn't owe anything. So, um, to end the conversation at Burger King, Bob was like, "Well, first thing you need to do is look over your check stub. You can see your dependent. See if you have a dependent, your status on your check stub." I like, "Oh, you can?" I like, "Oh, like that," and I felt really like, "Oh my goodness," you know. It's like I never even noticed that you can do that. A lot has been going on for these years, a lot. So this contributes to overlooking, not seeing something like this year, and you know, it really does. So, and then I'm going to try. A lot of times I do this to maintain my power and control, so I can articulate my thoughts without saying the same thing over and over again, or not finishing a thought. Because stress will do this to you. I realize this, and I'm removing stress from my life. And um, so he's, you know, Bob said, well, the first thing you need to do is get your check stub, because we looked in the office and I didn't have one there, because I asked if there one here for me, because I think I wanted to make sure I didn't leave an extra one there, because I have done that. I have gone like 2 weeks and left my check stubs there because I get direct deposit. And they Phyllis looked and said there was not there. So when I this was Friday once again, and Friday was the 7th. So what I did was, when I arrived to our apartment, I told Imani, let's look at the check stubs. So we looked at the check stubs, and this check stub says exempt. Some said exempt, and then some said one, and I think some said zero. Didn't claim. Hold on, let me see. So this is the check. So, because I kept all my check stubs. I just gotta look for it. Like this one right here, it says zero. Wait a minute, it says dependent. Oh, it says exempt. The ones that said exempt. So what Imani, when I told him Imani about this saying exempt, I asked him, I said, look up the word exempt in reference to taxes, and he did, and it said that when you're exempt, that means you are saying you don't want to pay taxes, and in order for you to be exempt, you have to request this yearly, per year, to be exempt and not pay taxes. I never fill out any paper requesting that I don't pay taxes for this year. So I was like, well, I didn't put exempt, or I didn't request this, because I didn't have to do such things. So this one says single. And Imani, what does this one say? I just want to make sure.
This one what?
What, right here in my, where it says dependent, and I had the camera on.
Dependent where?
It says
single.
and then next to it, what does it say?
At a rundown.
Okay, what about this one?
Exempt.
Okay, where the box where it shows exempt on the other one, where exempt would show, what does it say?
Single.
It says single.
Yes.
It doesn't. You don't see anything that says DEP at the top or close by, and then next to it, one.
I don't think so.
So some of them say single, some of them say exempt. Okay, what about this one?
Single.
Make sure it should. I thought I saw an area that says DEP where the word
There's department.
department.
Home department number.
Okay, and what's the home department number?
732.
And then what's next to it? Okay,
Nothing.
all the way across.
There's nothing. There's a.
Money. Make sure. Just make sure. Wait.
Okay, I see DEP, but I don't know what that
Okay, what does it stand?
one.
Okay, on that one. Okay, where it says one at, does it say that on the exempt?
No, there's nothing under there.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Okay, so some of them shows zero where I'm not claiming any, claiming DEP. That is what Bob. That is correlates to what Bob was possibly saying that it would show if I claimed a child, a dependent. So it says one, but some of them doesn't say one. It's nothing is there. It's zero. So is nothing there. So then I looked at my check stubs and tried to see when did exempt start to appear on my check stubs, and it seemed like I could be wrong. I have to look at more that it started to appear when Booker said that he can help me by um, 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 exempting the taxes. I guess that's the word, but I didn't hear the word exempt, but not pay. I heard the word, well, you don't pay tax. I didn't hear the word exempt. Okay. Cause, but I not pay tax for that one check, which, that one cycle check. And I told the IRS, TurboTax, the agent this, okay. Cause he went over each section of Turbo with me to Imani to see what happened. He said Imani put everything right. Everything is in the system right. And I told him, I said, well, there was a time when I needed help in earlier last year, and that was the time I was referring to. And but he only did it. I only received $850 check, where my check is usually 200, around $250. So one time, one check. That's it. And he agreed. He when I said I don't think that would cause me to owe almost $1,000. And he agreed. He said I don't think so either. He said that does not correlate to $1,000. I don't think that had much to do with it. But I we end up recording the conversation. So I'm just trying to go what through memory. So, but I do remember he said this, and or implied that definitely didn't have. I'm pretty sure that didn't have anything to do with me owing, um, um, almost $1,000. And the word exempt, I don't remember hearing the word exempt with coming from Booker, but I do remember him saying I can make it so you don't have to pay taxes that one check. This can only be done once. And I said, okay, I definitely didn't think anything would be wrong with that because he's the head manager. I was, so when I noticed this after I got off work on Friday, because that's Friday was the 7th, Saturday was the 8th, Sunday was the 9th, today is the 10th. When I got off work on Friday, before I went to go work at Whole Foods at 5, I said, now that could be why. I mean, because it says the checks before that time, as far as what I see, I have to look more thoroughly. Um, does not show exempt, but that from that time on, when I have the check stub that shows $850, and the check stub that shows when I was paid $169, and Booker had to give me money out the safe because he said he knew what happened. I don't know what happened, but I was just happy to get the money. He gave me the balance of the money, or I don't know if it came from the safe. I assume it came from the safe. I don't know where it came from. I don't know. I just was happy that he was able to give me the money. I was able to deposit in my bank account, and pay my rent. So, but I was seeing exempt on the check stubs after that situation, after he helped me with the $850. Instead of, I mean, so me not paying taxes with that one check, which caused me to have an $850 check, where I usually have approximately $650 check every 2 weeks. So I was like, now why would the word exempt? Why would he keep it? Or why? What happened? I'm not saying he, but I was like, why? The thought was, why the exempt is still on my check stub? And of course, I'm still thinking about all through the past year, and I'm not. I'm being so truthful. I was hearing regular residents saying about someone going to mess up her taxes, or not. Who is her, right? But if you walk past someone and they're trying to do witchcraft, or even if they're planning to do certain things like that, especially when you're among humanoid AI and those that actually involve in sex trafficking with humanoid AI, or the lab experiments, then there is a way that these things can be done. And once again, I'm not accusing Burger King of being involved. I don't know, and I'm not dismissing Burger King. I'm just telling you, I did experience this in 2024, and I documented it on X. So um, I think the one in the status on the check stub, on some of them said one, and then no dependent on some, but saying exempt, is what caused me to have to pay. I mean, not pay, excuse me, but owe, according to TurboTax, almost $1,000. And so when I went back to work at Burger King, that's my thought. When I went back to work at Burger King on the 8th, on Saturday, Booker was there. He wasn't there that on Friday when I was talking about, but he was there on Saturday, and I told him what happened. I said, Booker, because I'm pretty sure I'm assuming by then, Bob probably connected with him, or I'm assuming. But when I walked in, after I got settled and make sure, everything was done that I need to do, I said, can I talk to you for a moment, Booker? And he said, okay. So I went in the office and I talked to him. And I told him what happened. I told him pretty much, I said, I, I filed my taxes, and Turbo is saying that I owe almost $100, $1,000. And my check, and after I got off work on Friday, I looked over my check stubs and it's showing exempt. And and I think that might be the cause of it. Also, TurboTax mentioned the federal withholding is very low, or low, compared to what it should be in reference to the amount of money I made in 20 this past year. And I told him, I said, I did tell them, 'cause I was trying to figure out, I mean, I'm not thinking I did anything illegal with him, or he did anything illegal, but I told the agent about the one time of the $850, and the agent agreed, TurboTax agent, that he don't think that had anything to do with, or why I had to pay, not pay, excuse me, why it's saying I owe the I the IRS, or owe taxes almost $1,000. And I said, I actually told him, I said, you know what, Booker, if I don't think this is my fault, because my check stub is showing exempt. I said, I'm not accusing you and saying that you put exempt. And even I brought my check stubs with me, and even that after, while I was there, I looked over it, and that's when I looked over my check stubs even more. That's when I noticed that some of them said nothing in reference to a dependent, but some says one. So I was like, this is not my fault, Booker. It is not. Is there a way that Burger King, if I show them the proof, because I have the proof, the check stubs, can they pay that money where I don't have to pay the money? because I'm definitely implying that I'm stressed out and so forth. Because I did. I mean, well, who wouldn't be? Well, I guess if you have the money to pay it right off, and if you're doing very well, it's like, okay, almost $1,000 is nothing. But for us, especially when I had to, so I had to go through other financial means to help us maintain um our living status while and then I was rehired in, at Whole Foods, so which helped. But I because I had to go through other financial means that was lawful. Um, I have to I have some I don't like to say I have to pay back. Okay, so, and also with me being rehired at Whole Foods, I'm like, so nonetheless, to make a long story short, I didn't, I said this to him. I said, if it's not my fault, if I could show proof that this is not my fault, I didn't put exempt, I didn't know, I had no idea exempt was on these check stubs. I never said I did not want to pay taxes. I thought, and I told him, I said, I thought everything was the same with like Phoenix with fantastic food with because Janelle and Carl was the owner of that store when it was Fantastic Foods. Now it's Phoenix Foods, but it's all Burger King, and Brett owes it. I mean, why would I think anything has changed? I didn't fill out new paperwork. The only thing different happened was that one time where he said I don't have to pay taxes for that one check, which caused me to have $850 check for I get paid every 2 weeks. But otherwise, I didn't do anything. So I said, can they just pay? That's that's pretty much what I asked the to pay what they because what is saying that I owe because I didn't do I don't think this is my fault at all, and I can show proof. I didn't know. I did not. I had no idea. And I told Booker, I said, from that point on, when you helped me by that one check, that's where I've seen so far the word exempt is coming up. But at the time, I didn't tell him about the dependent saying 0 and 1 because I didn't catch it. But on my break, I caught it, and I saw some of my check stubs were saying single, one, and some was doesn't say dependent, doesn't show that I have a dependent. So that's anyway. I'm when I start talking like this, it's because of stress. So right now I don't want to get stressed because I'm freeing myself from stress. I'm doing a lot of things. I decided not to exercise because I figure I need to go ahead and take care of this business and talk about it with you, my nation of more sheep, Dwayne Baffle Bay, as a more, a naturalized more. So I think what I'm going to do is write a letter and ask them in humility, can they do that? And if they want to, for other, if they want to like give more for what I experienced, then I'm definitely going to accept because I definitely it. I mean, that is it is stressful, and just say this is what I would like. Definitely, can you pay this? And I'll show them what TurboTax say is owed, and because and demonstrate once again that I did not know, and I'm not, and once again, I am not. See, I guess it would be. I'm just saying I didn't. I'm just saying I didn't do it. I'm saying I'm not involved in saying exempt, even though I was definitely going through financial problems. Because that could be something, it's like, why wouldn't she do it? She's, if you are a bigot, like I've heard some behave in a manner like that here in Annapolis, and racist, and because some have said they are, would definitely look at some of my experience and say they are prejudiced and they are discriminative, and you want to demonstrate that more just don't want to pay taxes, then that could be what someone would think possibly. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying or you could actually, or think that more chose not to pay taxes. Maybe that more just don't, because some Moors really don't think don't want to pay taxes, or more those that claim to be Moors. But in my nation of Moors, we're not one of those Moors. We are taught it's constitutional to pay taxes. It's lawful. You should be naturalized in order to pay taxes. And when you and once you're naturalized and you reclaim your status as your or your nationality, you are paying taxes lawfully, and you're not paying taxes as property. Because when you're not in the constitutional fold, this is what we're taught, and I'm trying to speak without using the wrong terms. You are paying taxes as property or slave, because Black or African American is not recognized in the laws of the Constitution. Those terms are not recognized. White is not recognized. White American is not a term that's recognized in constitutional law. So you have to claim a nationality in order to be recognized by the organic instrument of the Constitution, the U.S.A. Constitution. That these are one of the first lessons I learned when I decided to reclaim my nationality under Moorish American National Republic. The National Grand Sheik, Joe Arrington-Bey. So I have never put exempt, as far as I can remember through these years. In reference to taxes, I knew I supposed to pay taxes because I was naturalized to pay taxes. But when you're not naturalized and you're paying taxes, then you are being used as property and a slave. That's my understanding. So I'm going to stop there and upload so I can send this. And I'm going to write a letter, um, and in humility, I hope Burger King see that I didn't. First of all, this was not intentional. I don't know what happened. And if I guess if they was to think it's intentional, then they would have to say, well, who did she speak with? How did the word exempt get on her check stub? So that too would come up. And unless and as far as I know, I don't think Booker would. I don't know him. He wouldn't lie and say, well, she said put exempt all the way through. I don't think so, because he did. He probably would have lied that day, this past Saturday, but he didn't. And when I told him about, I asked him, I said, do you think Burger King can pay this because, or pay what TurboTax they owe because I didn't do it? And he said he doesn't know, but he's going to tell, go from there. So he could have easily said, no, you told me that you wanted the exempt, so I changed it for you, but he did not do that. And I haven't spoke to anyone besides that day on Friday when I went on the floor um, to follow Bob, and he brought the conversation to um, everyone that was, or I should say, those that was on the floor that wanted to be involved, which was Emily, Phyllis, and I think Mindy was in, spoke to about it. Um, I haven't spoke to anyone else at Burger King about my taxes, so it's only been Bob, Booker, and that Friday, because I followed Bob and we talked about it then on the front line with no customers there that I saw. That was so it was really really slow. So that day, like I said, and if Burger King would want to get more because of the mistake, and if they do their research and see that's like, okay, this was somehow a mistake, whatever, then definitely I'm going to accept. So I think, but anyway, that's what I'm going to do.